started to see the first little visions of what the future might look like. For those of you who've been following for a while, I've already talked to you about this, that I felt like a void in the world that we see around us. And normally when that happens, it's only happened once before. It means that there's something in the future that hasn't yet been decided. That there's choices that humanity needs to make that drive us into a direction to understand what is coming next. Now, you know, back in the day, the idea of prophets, right? Prophet, I also feel has a clear alignment with the word prophet, especially if we take in a moral instigation here. Now, I'm not saying all profiteers are good at prophecy and vision. No, what I'm saying is the opposite, is that most likely profiteers, those who are good at seeing prophecy, seeing what's coming into the future, do well with life. So one of the things I wanted to go over today was the excitement of a vision that I had last night. You know, I've been telling a bunch of friends, this is the first time I hadn't been able to see, I guess, in the dark for the last little while, like through that visionary area. And I started to realize that it wasn't that the future was unknown, which is almost always the case, is that people needed to make decisions, right? So yesterday I was walking around and I started to get this kind of digital, like, cowboy feeling that what we would see was like a change in the relationship between technology and nature, and that I saw almost everyone as farmers. You know, I guess as I am now, kind of a farmer on the side of the hill, but really still deeply entangled in the technological world, but we just used it differently. Social distancing became a normal in my vision here because everyone farmed and everyone had a few acres to garden on, and that's how we survived. Everyone was kind of good at their little productivity. I was seeing kind of like electric dirt bikes and saddlebags, like it was a real digital cowboy thing. And maybe you could even get into like flying cars every now and then. Go from like a cow, like maybe a dirt bike or a horse, to jumping on like a spaceship. Kind of like, not a spaceship, but just some type of flying device different than we know today. I'm gonna wait till the end. We'll play it at the end. Play the guitar at the end. We'll make it a part of the everyday show. Let's rest it up against Miss Ayahuasca here. Perfect. Easy. That was really easy. And I'm really excited about that. A digital cowboy sounds like a lot of fun. You know, it's really easy to drive from point A to point B, and part of me has kind of dreamed about the world as an amusement park before. I know it's kind of like that already. It's a dangerous one. There's consequences for fucking up on the amusement park. But this idea where you could travel to places like Asia and you could visit it in kind of its peak, like rolling around on horses, takes a few days to get anywhere. You're limited to how you can travel to some degree. We've got amazing tech so everyone can stay in touch. Most people are farmers because social distancing becomes the norm. Everyone starts to rely on their community more, localized manufacturing of things, and the ability to print stuff. This was another huge one too that came through, is that a lot of people would have a printer in their home and they could print, like if they needed antibiotics or something random from the medical system, that, or access to like I don't know, like being able to print out the tools you need as a farmer. It was a really weird vision, but it was the first like even tiny little bit of clarity that I had gotten from this whole experience so far. So I wanted to share that. I don't know what that means, you know, in terms of where we're going in the future. It was just a momentary thing. We may not have decided what happens in the future. We may not ever know, but it was a really cool vision. And I thought it was a great thing to see the human species go back to a more localized municipal kind of governance structure, but still have the capability to travel the globe and meet different cultures. That we didn't lose that, we get that back, but in a very, very different way than we have now. I didn't see anything about passports or governments in that story. And I'm not sure how that would exist. I think we're probably better off without that kind of stuff. You don't need so many checks and balances to know who people are. We probably don't end up stopping that many criminals for how many normal people you actually end up putting out. It's very difficult for some. Imagine it like this, right? And I've thought about this in charitable disaster relief before, because it's something I like to think about. Is what I couldn't imagine if all of a sudden there was a natural disaster and I lost my passport and the government offices lost recognition of who I was, and you had to recover that information. It would be next to impossible, if not impossible. So what could we do that we could build as temporary municipal infrastructure? There's a lot of white hat or white label solutions for things like that we would see maybe even coming from the blockchain world. I have a very strong feeling that if the tech idea here is right, that it's not just about the digital cowboy, growing rice and trading with Bitcoin or something. It was this whole, municipally governed, I don't know. It was almost like the world was an amusement park. I really liked it. I don't know what today's video is about. Half it's just letting you guys join me on this ride, because this is new for all of us. I don't think a lot of people are taking it in. I think currently a lot of people are ignoring this. They still think it's only going to take like a few weeks or some shit. They're believing that China's numbers have actually decreased. I have a very strong feeling this could take 6 to 18 months like this. Do we see a collapse in government? Do we go back to a little bit of anarchy for a while until we can fundamentally figure out what people need from one another? This is an opportunity for the human species to really step up and do something kind for one another instead of just take. And I think more and more as we go into this, that's what it's going to require. That your survival is going to rely on, did you do something nice for someone else? Something, small stuff too. I'm not talking like, it doesn't have to be life-changing. Just something small. Did you help them when they had a flat tire? Or did you help them when an old lady needed toilet paper from the top shelf and she was crying because she couldn't get it? That small stuff now, I think, is going to become the karmic indicator for how well you do as an individual throughout these times. Now, look, it seems like a lot of people are going to die. I'm sad to say that. Because it means we're going to lose a lot of loved ones along this path. But we already knew this. This was our contract to life when we signed up. We knew that dying was a contract. It's what makes life real to some degree. Understanding that this is a finite experience in this infinite world, and that consciousness has already achieved immortality. It had achieved it through our constant ability to die, regenerate, and try out new things. It's not immortality the way people like Ray Kurzweil think, and I don't ever think it should be. It's so egotistical to, for one individual soul to want to live for so long because they think they're right. It's almost the epitome of something devilish. What makes you think you deserve that? And I think most people would assume that they deserve it, but they probably don't. And this is where life is right now. The incredible nature and miracle to be here for any given amount of time is a privilege. It is not a right. To get food and water every day, it was not a right. It was a privilege that you got the opportunity to go to try to survive. I think a lot of people forgot that. They just want free handouts. They want everything to be easy, like, oh, I believe my day to be great, and it will be. That's not how the universe works. The universe has a story. It's going to play out. And you get to be a part of that story. And the further you embrace it, yes, look, something bad can happen, and if you decide that that's a learning lesson and that your failures make you stronger, then that's what that will become. If you just cower in the corner when things go wrong, if you want to shy away from what's actually happening, I can't imagine it will bode well for you, because we're moving into a time where every step that you take is going to have to be, it might be it might be whether you survive or not. Moving quickly here might not be the best thing. Take your time. Really lean into each decision that you make. I didn't get a horse. I just don't have the time to feed him. I wish I did. So anyways, I guess this is a short video today. Give us those thumbs up. if you like this content. Remember, leave all your questions, your comments. I'm going to do one of these a day. I'm going to record it in the morning, having a fire, a coffee. It's just me ranting. It's just me trying to process what's going on. We'll leave all the Bitcoin and charting and trading stuff for our private bear group. So for any of you that are interested in that, I guess it's almost like a how to make money online during the fucking apocalypse now, but that's not the course of events that I think are the most important. I think the philosophical and the personal and the natural right now are of a significantly higher importance to each individual, to realize that they are one with consciousness. Not separate, not just as individuals, but the communities are going to need you to be strong. They're going to need you to be smart. They're going to need you to move effectively, because we're all going to be on the front line of trying to help save people's lives, probably in a very short order. Something none of us have had to do in a long time. So gear up, enjoy the ride, and make sure you spend enough time outside to listen to nature. If you happen to be stuck inside, I'm just going to make recordings like this, and at the end of every video, I'm going to leave like 5 or 10 minutes of the jungle, just kind of playing in the background. I'll play some guitar for the end of this one because I don't want to move the camera around too much, and I don't have a lot of time. I have some other stuff I have to do today. Give us a thumbs up if you like this comment. Leave your thoughts, your questions, your comments down below. Steel with the Arcane Bear. I'm just going to let you guys all sign off every day with either a little bit of music or a little bit of motherfucking jungle, because it is all a time where we could use a little more nature in our lives. I'm sure for that.